guys, Starla Moore here, and this is part 2 of my iPicky training series on how to edit photos for free without Photoshop or any other crazy photo editing applications that you would have to normally pay for. In the first video, we talked about how to edit your product over a white background. So be sure to check that out if you haven't already. I will link that below as well. But in this video, we are going to be talking about editing product photos on a dark background. In this case, we're going to be doing them over a black background. Now, I'm going to throw out a quick disclaimer. I highly recommend that on Etsy, for your thumbnail photos that you're providing on your shop page, use the lighter background. It doesn't need to be completely white, but it does need to be very light and neutral with nothing that's confusing or distracting in the photo. I would avoid any props because those are distracting, and not only that, it confuses the customer as to exactly what they are purchasing. So be sure to keep it simple for your thumbnail photos, but the dark backgrounds are great for marketing. They're great for posting to Facebook. You can use them as secondary photos when you're listing products in your shop. I personally only use them for marketing purposes, but the rest is up to you. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that you're, of course, going to have to do is head over to iPicky.com. You do not need to make an account, but you can. It is free. And you're going to want to edit a photo, and from there you will be able to upload a picture. Okay, so from here we have a couple pictures. I was experimenting a little bit with the lighting, and these didn't turn out that great. I was doing them over a dark piece of cardboard. I think these down here turned out a lot better where I did them over a dark piece of granite, but you can use construction paper, you can use a piece of cardboard, you can use pretty much anything. And I recommend actually going to a hardware store or, a home improvement store like Lowe's or Home Depot, where you can actually buy a square of granite tile for photographs. And I think that the most that I've ever paid for one was about $16 for a very pretty one, but they last forever and you can use them over and over again. That's just a personal trick that I use. You can find all different colors and textures for your photographs, but it's something interesting if you just don't want to use a plain black or white background. Okay, so I'm going to be working with this picture today mainly because it turned out the darkest, and I think that this one will look very nice. When working with a dark background, there are a lot of factors that have to play in, because if we completely darken this photo, we're going to lose all of this area right here where the product itself is dark, and this is going to apply to pretty much any product that you photograph over a dark background, especially if it has a metallic surface that's going to reflect that dark background back at you. So the first thing that we're going to do is go into this exposure tab over here on the left hand side, and we are going to experiment with the shadows. Now what I usually like to do is get it at a point where I feel comfortable with the shadows that are actually on the product. So what I'm going to do is go in and push this little effects mask, and I'm going to decrease my brush size and lighten up the spots that got too dark. And I'm going to do that manually. Now the purpose of this is to make our entire background black. So there are going to be quite a few steps in this process, a lot more than when we're editing with a white background. So bear with me, and for any parts that take a long time, I will definitely do more of a time-lapse sequence on them. Okay, so we're looking good. We're going to go ahead and apply this. Do not forget to click apply before you click on anything else, or you will lose your progress. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go right back in and do that shadowing again with another layer of shadows where we can pretty much get this black. But we don't want to do that yet because obviously it would make the product too dark. We're going to drag it right about here, get it a little darker, and we're going to go in with this effects mask, click reverse effect, and now your brush is what is going to paint in this dark spot. Now, a lot of people wonder, why don't you just turn it all the way up and paint it in? And that's because it's a really hard process when you're actually layering on the shadows. You don't have as much control, and mistakes are way less forgiving if you're doing it all at once. So what I like to do is go in, layer in the shadows, and it makes it look a lot more natural. And then if you make a tiny mistake, it's a lot easier to let it go unnoticed, I guess. So, if I were to accidentally slop and not catch it, doing it in layers will prevent it from being super duper obvious. So that's just a little tip that I personally use. Okay, we are all finished. Let's click apply. And now we are left with a product that just very beautifully and gradually matches the background, as opposed to maybe creating a PNG of the product where you would lay it over top of the black background, and it really sticks out when you do that. You can just kind of tell. And with this process, the shadowing, it just makes everything look very natural and very consistent, which is the goal. We want it to look as natural as possible. So a couple problem areas that we have are these little blue flecks. And a lot of times you'll still see some texture after you have removed all of the lightness from a photo. So what we're going to do for those parts is just go down to the draw feature. We're going to turn it to black, of course, and we're just going to go in and paint in these areas. I like to just run my brush over the entire area that I have done in black to make sure that there's nothing that I've missed. Sometimes I have little flecks on my computer screen of dust that I don't notice, and then I think that I've got an inconsistency in my photo. So I try to go in and touch up all these little spots. There is a little fleck of silver from the key, but it really stands out. So I'm going to go ahead and darken these little flecks in. And we are going to click apply. Now a couple more things that I'm going to personally do with my product, and this might not apply with all products, but for jewelry it's something that I would definitely recommend. Or if you look at your photo once you're done and you realize that it's not really popping the way that you want it to, there are a couple things that we can do to make sure that the product really pops and is bright and looks its very best. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go right back to the exposure tab that we've been using, but this time we're going to turn up the highlights. This is going to make the product itself a little bit brighter over that dark background. And we're going to click apply. And then the next thing that I want to do is go down. Where is it? Oh, I must have missed it. There we go. It's up at the top. The next thing that we're going to do is go into sharpen and play with the sharpness and the clarity, but like I said in the first video, be sure to not crank them all the way up because it makes the product look very animated and just not realistic at all. And it also, bringing up the sharpness sometimes brings out some flecks that you didn't see before. So you can always go in and darken them up later if you end up with some flecks, but we're going to go ahead and turn this way down, and we're going to turn the clarity way down. And this just brightens it and gives it a little bit more detail and a little bit more shine. And now I'm beginning to see some more little dark spots. or light spots that I need to go in and touch up, but that's okay. Okay, we're going to finish up by touching up any leftover dark spots or bright spots. I don't know why I keep saying dark spots. I have not had enough coffee today. I don't know if you can tell by my voice. I'm in a fantastic mood, but whew, I need another cup of coffee. All right, so we're going to click apply. And here we go. This is my completed product, but a few more recommendations just if you're photographing jewelry. And these are the same recommendations that I gave on the first video. Those are that if you have any colors reflecting from, let's say, for example, this one I took on a slate of granite that was near a fence, and the fence was brown, so you can kind of see that reflecting in the product a little bit. You can go into hue and saturation, turn that saturation not all the way down, but close to, and then we're going to use this effects mask. Click reverse effect. I'm going to reduce that brush size a bit, and we're just going to go in and remove unnecessary yellows. Now, if you're doing silver jewelry, be sure to leave in some areas of blue. If you can see this blue right here, I feel like a little bit of blue in a silver product really makes it pop and gives it that crisp, icy appearance. So when you're working with silver, I definitely recommend only trying to remove any yellows and greens, and sometimes you'll even get a reddish orange color. Get rid of those colors, but try to leave in the blues because they really just give the product this nice, sleek, icy appearance. And I think that's what everybody wants when they buy something in silver. They want it to be very cool as opposed to warm. Okay, so we're looking a lot more crisp now. The very last thing that I'm going to recommend, and this is if and only if you have taken a photo of a product and the colors in the photo do not match the colors of the product itself when you're holding it in your hand. Because if you enhance the colors of a product and you post it in your shop and that product arrives to the customer and they see that it's not the same color, you're going to get a bad review. So only do this if the camera did not properly capture the color that you're trying to capture. What we're going to do is go back into hue and saturation, and I'm just going to turn up the saturation on this crystal by a little bit. Obviously you can crank it up, but I definitely don't recommend doing that. We're going to take it right about here looks good, and click apply. And there you guys have it. We have an awesome product photo. And I personally think that it looks a million times better than the original. It is bright, it is crisp. We have taken out all detail in the background. So this is definitely a method that I would recommend for marketing. You can also go in over to this layering tab and add in some text if you want. We'll just do something random. You can choose a font. And I like this gradient fill option where you can actually do a half and half color. Oops. All right, guys. Well, there is an awesome example of how to totally increase your photo quality free and easy without having to deal with Photoshop and all of that confusion. I apologize for the length of time it's taken me to get this video posted. I've been working so hard on getting some more awesome trainings finished up for you. I am working on something so big right now. I can't wait to tell you what it is. I am like forcing myself not to tell you what it is just yet, but you guys will be hearing so much more about that soon. All right, guys. Well, if you haven't watched video 1 of this series, definitely be sure to do so because I did a lot of references in this video to it, and I feel like it is extremely essential, even if you don't currently use white backgrounds. I think that watching that video will help you a lot. You can expect to see the next video in this training very soon, where I'll be talking about how to photograph and edit photos of products taken on natural backgrounds and for lifestyle photos. such as products being photographed outside, maybe by some flowers, maybe on a pretty rock, but photos where you really want to display the product in an environment. So we'll be working on that next. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Of course, if you have not gotten your free ebook, be sure to do so. I will be linking that below. I've had hundreds of people sign up to grab that, and when you subscribe to grab that ebook, you will be added to my Handmade Alpha VIP group, where I will be able to keep you updated on my available trainings, free goodies, awesome videos like this one, and I will often be asking you guys advice on what trainings you would like to see next. So be sure to grab that, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks.